Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, today's show is going to feature some characters. And I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Vallemont. Let's see, I think we got Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. It's episode 1428. We did do a podcast on Sunday, and I talked a lot about Janine Garofalo's face.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I am obsessed. You know, I still think she's a beautiful, wonderful woman, and she's very funny.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
More funny than this old schmuck could ever hope to be, and that's why I put her in my funny family of people that I love. Some people, Louis C.K. should be in that list, and I say, okay, let's hear it for middle-aged men that found a career.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
In comedy. Actually got better in more famous in comedy later in life, like Louis Black.
Mike's
Louis
Daily
who I've seen
Podcast.
and met very briefly once.
Yeah!
Very nice guy. But I'd like to talk about someone I'm a big fan of, Lena Masizzi. I talked about her a little bit on the last show, and she does these fun little Instagram stories. And she was with her boyfriend, I think in Albuquerque was the last one I saw this morning. And she was singing the national anthem with him and harmonizing beautifully. And I was just, this girl is so talented. She also posted a picture once, look who just walked in, with Mark Maron. Got to visit. See, now this is how I met her, was because Stitcher, who maybe you use their app to listen to this show. I once emailed them and told them, hey, I see you're in San Francisco. I would love to go take a tour of your facilities. Facilities. Look who else walked in. And just hold on, all right? People walk in while I'm doing the show, and they interrupt me, and I just love that. It's full of activity here this morning. So scary activity. I got to go there. They were very nice. They showed me around. And then they invited me to the special podcasters symposium where podcasters who are on famous podcasts spoke to us. We actually sat in their supply closet. Yes, we did, because it wasn't a very big place. And so we sat in the supply closet, and that's where I met Lena Masizzi.
And here's today's podcast picture.
It's not of Lena Masizzi. It's of me. Because I don't have a cool Greek name like her. I decided I'd post a picture of me. Every couple of podcast pictures, I put me in there. Because I know you forget what I look like, and you really want to be reminded. And, oh shoot, where did I put that thing? I can't read my sound effect page this morning. Because my eyes. Stop laughing.
Very funny.
Oh, here it is.
This show is about me, and it always has been.
So what happened was, they announced Lena Masizzi, and I said, I know that name, because at the end of this show that used to be on called Decode DC, or DC Decoded, or something like that, they would announce her name, and I always thought, what a beautiful name. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this big podcast, which actually ended up burning out just disastrously because the host couldn't be burdened to do the show every week. I do this show every day, just about. So there's no excuse. But Lena Masizzi had to produce her show. So after she talked a little bit about all the podcasts that she had worked on, and then I got to talk to her afterwards, and I got a picture with her, and she made it her profile page picture on Facebook. She made it that main picture that everyone sees. And I was like, what the hell? And I read the comments from her friends, from her fans underneath it saying, because I had put in the picture the very famous podcast producer, Lena Masizzi, and people were totally making fun of that. Like, yeah, you're so famous. Ha ha. And so somehow I was on her profile for quite a while. And then when the memory thing came up, when they show a memory of a past post you did, the memory of that picture popped up. A lot of plosives in that sentence. And I said posted it on Lena's page saying, hey, remember this? Wasn't that fun? And she goes, such a fun memory. So I follow her on Instagram, and she has very clever... What she usually does is she'll zoom the camera in on her phone on something just totally bizarre. Mostly bizarre ads that they have. She's in New York. And the ads that they have on the subway, not the sandwich commercial ads, but... Oh, God, I hate subway commercials. It all started with Jared, and we know what happened with him. So that's Lena Misizi, and I'm a huge fan, and she likes to post somewhat candid pictures or stories. The latest one, I guess she's on a whirlwind romantic vacation with her guy, and they're at some bed and breakfast, and she was filming from her point of view, sitting on the bed, her legs exposed, just her legs, and then the boy toy guy walks in with pizzas. And that's basically what I found on Instagram, was Lena's little story thing, and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying it more than Nikki Glazer's stories, and she's a comedian who appears all the time on that Chris Hardwick show about the current events and whatnot at midnight, which I used to enjoy watching until I realized the whole show is scripted out and there's fake laugh from the audience. And I got tired of seeing the same 3 comedians that he has part of his Nerdist network. I'm talking about all kinds of things. Chris Hardwick has a podcasting network he made a lot of money on called the Nerdist Network, I think is what it's called. But that's neither here nor there, or relevant, or totally not relevant. It's irrelevant, if you will. It's so sad, though, about... Well, we'll get into a little bit more about Hurricane Harvey. Expect gas prices to go up because all the refineries shut down, and if you live in Texas, we wish you the best of luck. But apparently insurance rates are going to go way up in Texas. And I also caught... Another podcast that I thoroughly enjoy is called Cross Currents. It's made by the local San Francisco radio station KALW, and they have some really fantastic little stories in this. I think it's a half-hour show, maybe it's an hour. And they had on a girl who cosplays, and she created a whole story like you would hear. I don't know if you're a big This American Life fan, but a story told from the person. They narrate the first person narrative discussing something like, this is when I went to the cosplay, blah blah blah, and she talked all about being a cosplayer, and she's in high school, and she talks to a friend who cosplaying has allowed them to better appreciate their looks and appearance, is what she was saying. And it's just so interesting to me, cosplaying, because when I was young, eons ago, so long ago, and the biggest song in the nation was, "We built this city on..." So, back then, we loved dressing up in costume. But basically all we had was Star Wars, Star Trek. You could do... What was I don't know, Goonies... Just nothing much. There was some Disney stuff, but there's now so much stuff to choose from. And then you've got the whole video game world. And you've got the whole anime world that exploded over the past decades. And back in my day, all there was the anime, was the Battle of the Planets and Robotron, Trek, Robot, whatever. And yeah, we had Transformers, I guess. But now it's just, there's so much to choose from beyond just Indiana Jones and Star Wars. So she talks all about dressing up as her favorite character and all these Japanese names, and a lot of these characters I have no idea what they are because they're from anime, and I'll have to get Jarrell Name back on the show and he can explain some more of that to me. But it's the latest podcast up from Cross Currents. Now, it is so hot. How hot is it? I had to sleep basically in my underground bunker last night. It was pretty hot. My poor dog, Basil the Boxer, was huffing and puffing. But we went downstairs and he was fine because it's much cooler downstairs. And it's just so hot. And I hope you have a nice fan going on you because it is not pleasant here in the Bay Area. And I hear it's not pleasant in Southern California either right now. But I did take my dog for a walk after the sun had started to set and it was cooling down. And we walked past this one area of Coal Canyon. There's a park that I have posted many a podcast picture of. And this podcast picture today of me is over by, once again, the Hayward Regional Shoreline, which I was at Friday evening, and I posted a picture. Last podcast picture was of Basil by the Hayward Regional Shoreline. And this one is of me that I took a little bit after I took that Basil picture. And so there you can see it. It was right at sunset, and it's so beautiful in the Bay Area. Even when it's hazy, when the sun sets and everything around you, your whole 360-degree view becomes this interesting reddish pink. But that is the little children I wanted to mention that I saw as we were walking through Coal Canyon Park. Which, by the way, there's a sign on the road by Coal Canyon Park that says $1,000 fine for littering. Yet there is trash just all over the grounds of the Coal Canyon Park. So I don't know who's enforcing this, but I know most of the police were off to help keep the rallies from getting out of control over the weekend. But the little children that I was speaking to, one of them yelled at me, "Hey, did you chop your dog's tail off?" Because Basil the Boxer is a boxer, and when I adopted him over 7.5 years ago, and he's going to be 9, actually. Yeah, he was 1.5 years when I got him. He's going to be 9 in just a couple of weeks. He already had his tail chopped, and so I didn't say all this to the kid. I just say, no, they come this way. So maybe I just miseducated the youth of America. I don't know. These kids were pretty annoying. They were carrying around sticks and banging all the trash cans, and their parents obviously didn't care because they were in a drunken stupor, sitting on picnic tables. They've just enjoyed a wonderful Sunday, drinking and hanging out by the Coal Canyon Lagoon, which is a fetid water hole that I probably will never go into again. But that's neither here nor there or over there. What a wonderful commentary I just made.
I'm taking a breather. Sorry.
I guess I'll just end this now.
It's time to stop, okay? I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Well, finally, I wanted to say hi to the characters. Hi, Mark! It's Benita the Rodeo Queen! How you doing?
Did the Disgruntled Fiddle Player tell you what?
What?
You sure made us wait a long time. I mean, that was a lot of bull.
No, it wasn't. It was fascinating stuff, wasn't it? Look who else is here.
Hello, Mac. I make the delicious root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Thank you. I'm enjoying your root beer right now.
I know. Drink it now or I'll cut you.
All right, okay. Jeez. I will drink it. So delicious. All right. This root beer is frothy. At last, the Brewmaster has made a root beer that is so good that it just... I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Sorry.
That's interesting. The glass just completely blew up of root beer. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a... what do you call it? Theater of the mind crap. Was it relevant? Probably not. But the point of the matter is MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com has all the past podcast pictures and plosives, and you can help out the show through the Amazon link. Click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy, and that helps us out. There's also the PayPal. You can help us out that way. You'll become an inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster, and all the world will be happy and sing along with you, and you'll get a personalized MP3 from all the Cafe Anyway characters. Finally, all the past interviews I've done. I'm still alphabetizing that. I didn't get through that yesterday. I've only gotten up to L. with my alphabetizing of interviews, but still you can see all that at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. And now, and you can call me at 336-MM-DAILY. Let's get to the segment called
Ridiculous Random Posts.
And I'm going to do that in post, because I have no idea what my news segment is. I'm going to put it in post. It's going to be called the... Why don't we do... Yeah, okay, so it was Ridiculous Random Posts. Very good. Good thing I just told myself that. Hey, I'm all confused. It's what happens at 5:51 in the morning. Ooh, I got to wrap this up. So, in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, Houston and an ever-expanding swath of cities and towns remains under siege today by torrential rain and surging floodwaters, with officials predicting more than 30,000 people may be forced into temporary shelters. Gosh. The acting Homeland Security Secretary said we are not out of the woods yet, in a sign of the magnitude of the disaster. As I said, more than 30,000 people are expected to be housed in shelters, even as rescue officials were still piecing together the extent of the damage to homes and businesses. The already dire circumstances were complicated by the release of water from 2 reservoirs opened to relieve the stress caused by a downpour that was threatening to equal or exceed in just a few days the area's average rainfall for a full year. We had a similar situation here in California with that reservoir that up north of us. I can't think of the name of it at the moment, but parts of Harris County, which encompasses Houston, were pelted with 30 inches of rain in the past 72 hours. Gosh. Authorities also fielded scores of calls for help throughout the night from people stranded by water, though many areas had imposed curfew overnight Sunday in hopes of cutting down on the numbers in need of being rescued from vehicles. Help was pouring in from swift water rescue teams from around the country. Rain measured in feet, not inches, overwhelmed lakes, rivers, and bayous, leaving several people dead and thousands displaced in weather disaster described as beyond anything experienced. Wow. Well, this is not over yet, unfortunately. Some better news, this is a random post that's a little bit more uplifting. Some technology that has come to be adjacent to SpaceX headquarters. 25 teams gathered for another Hyperloop Pod Competition. Let's hear it for pods, podcasts. Oh, it's a different type of pod. We like the word pod. You got a nice pod. This time, the winner would be judged by how quickly they could go down the it's a little under, I guess it's a 7.77 miles of track. That's 1.25 kilometers. On the final day of competition, 3 teams advanced to the finals and had the chance to push their pod to the limit. With a speed of just over 200 miles per hour, the VAR team from the Technical University of Munich, or München, as they say there, handily beat the 2 other finalists with its small but quick pod, which weighed just 176 pounds and powered by a 50-kilowatt motor. The vehicle was essentially a small electric car built specifically for winning the competition. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Next show, I will speak with Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Benltey, but it was great having you here, Benita.
Thanks, Mark. I had a great time. I'm going to go back inside with my horse and destroy a cafe anyway. Bye! It's going to be fun.
Good. Horse walks into a bar. Bartender says, "Why the long face?" And we'll end it there. Next show will be other things as well, so tune into that. Hopefully we'll get to that one soon. Yes, that's right. Maybe tomorrow, perhaps, since it's a daily show. That's right, Mike's Daily Podcast. Take it away, Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!